Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it looks like it finally happened, man. It looks like it finally happened. So I'm just minding my business, right? And then I see YouTube videos, I see Twitter, on fire, talking about Call of Duty. I'm like, yeah, what's going on now, man? What's happening now, right? Then I see Exclusive Ace dropped a video, and I was like, no way, no, there's no way this is happening. So then I go and check the Treyarch's Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and apparently it's actually happening, boys. It's actually happening. Activision has appeared to finally have come to their senses. After the last 6 years of just the lies, the manipulation, the gaslighting, and just the total disregard for the very player base that lines their pockets. After 6 years of that, they have finally come to their senses, and they announced that they will be doing away with, or at least at launch, they'll be doing away with the strict SBMM, EOMM, right? And they will have open matchmaking. So as you guys know, I made a video on this the other day, but the big news was that during the beta, Black Ops 7 had a regular playlist and an open playlist, right? Where they went back to classic matchmaking from years ago, right? Not what they've been doing the last 6 years with this manipulative matchmaking crap where you never feel like you're getting better at the game, right? Just everything's a sweat fest. You can't actually chill. Where they want everyone to have a 1 KD, right? So with Battlefield 6 coming out and it absolutely killing Black Ops 7 right now in terms of pre-orders and sales and whatnot, Activision was scrambling. They were in full-on panic mode, so they decided to release this playlist during the beta, right? And obviously it got positive feedback because a playlist without the crazy SBMM matchmaking, right? Everyone was hopping on that. Obviously there were some issues with it just being a playlist, right? You got to make the whole game like that. You can't just make a playlist because it's defeating the purpose of the matchmaking, because all the certain type of players are going to go to that playlist and then it's just going to feel like the same thing, right? So while it was cool to see, and while they say they were collecting the data, whatever data that they need to collect, I don't know what more data they need after 6 years of all this crap, right? But anyway, they say they're collecting data, right? So after all the data they collected during the course of the beta over the last few days, today, Treyarch posted on their X, and they said, open matchmaking confirmed. At launch, open matchmaking with minimal skill consideration will be the default matchmaking for Black Ops 7 multiplayer. Our team is committed to providing players with a more varied experience, and the beta was a valuable opportunity to test this approach. It's funny, right? Talking about testing this approach. You knew you had all the data, right? There was nothing else to test. You knew what the game was years ago before you implemented all this crap and started doing all these manipulative patents and all this crap, right? You knew what it was years ago. Then you decide to do all this crap. Your franchise is absolutely tanked. People are quitting in record numbers, right? And then when you're about to get hit with the haymaker, right? The haymaker of Battlefield 6 coming out, which at this point is coming out tomorrow, right? This is what you come out and do the day before Battlefield 6. Because you know that launch is just going to boot your game into, non-existence almost, right? So you come out with this absolute Hail Mary at the end of the clock, right? So they came out with this, and also, right, as you guys know, right, the disbanding lobbies, something that has been pretty much taken out of the game, I think, since Modern Warfare 2019. Is that the case? When they first started. Anyway, around the same time they started doing all this SBMM, EOMM bullcrap, right? That's around the same time that the disbanding lobbies came around too, because you can't keep the lobbies together, because after every single game, your elo's getting reanalyzed, right? So you can get put in a new bracket after every single game. That's why you have one good game, and then you're destined for 5 horrible ones where you're getting your cheeks clapped, right? So they put this other tweet, and they said, basically they said that disbanding lobbies are going to be making a return as well, right? So again, it's good to see, right? Because obviously the competition is what drove this, right? People were leaving their game. The people have spoken. The people were speaking with their wallets, right? Their numbers were down. They were losing millions of dollars. People were leaving the franchise. And then they decided to do this Hail Mary where they have to walk it back, right? This matchmaking that they claim retains players. The fact that you open a playlist where it's not stringent, the matchmaking isn't stringent and crazy, not like a sweat fest competitive matchmaking, right? And people come back to the game in droves. That should tell you all you need to know. That's all the data you need. They love to talk about the data. They already had the data that they needed. They're just being stubborn, right? So, listen, man, this is huge. It undoes one of the biggest complaints that have been plaguing this franchise over the last 6 years. But again, why now? Again, Battlefield 6 pressure, community backlash, viewership decline. Even, Call of Duty content creators were just seeing record low views because no one cares about the game. They don't care to play it. They don't even care to play it. Why are they going to watch content on it? Right? That in combination with the beta feedback and people coming back to the game, obviously that's why they made the decision to do it, right? Now listen, this is huge. One of my biggest concerns was when they had the open matchmaking playlist was that it's a playlist that could be yanked away at any particular time, right? As you know, as I explained in my other video, they give and take away playlists willy-nilly, right? You have one playlist that people love, right? You have Shoot House 24/7 playlist that's there for a week, and then you take it away randomly for no reason. They're just doing stuff that people don't like, right? In the name of, I don't even know. I don't know, man. But that was the biggest concern with it being a playlist. But now, with them confirming that this will be in the full game and it will be the default for the matchmaking. This is absolutely huge, right? Again, I still don't fully trust it though, because even though it's not a playlist, it sounds better if it being the default at launch. It's Activision, bro. I don't trust them, obviously, and who would at this point? This sounds fantastic. I'm still not going to pre-order the game though. Best believe that. But if this stays the way it is, then I would play the game again. It's been so long since I played, I'd have to, get halfway decent again. But I'd be willing to put in that work, right? Because I haven't played the Call of Duty in years at this point, right? So, I'd be mad rusty, but at least I know if I work at it, I can get back to where I was, right? And I will get rewarded for that work that I put into the game, right? I won't get punished for getting better at the game again, right? So, I'd consider getting it if this is what's here to stay, right? But I don't know. Again, they could reintroduce the SBMM slowly, quietly, behind the scenes. It just, why wouldn't they do that? They're always talking about this data. They're always doing tests, so I don't know, right? On top of that, they could use, as they always do, they can weaponize anything, any data, a reference point, they can use as a weapon, right? What do I mean by that? Well, numbers are already down across the board for Call of Duty, right? They're not even competing with Battlefield at this point. And that's split between multiple games. That's split between Black Ops 6, Warzone, right? So they're getting absolutely crushed, right? Call of Duty, even though this is fantastic news, is still not in a great space, right? So the numbers are going to be down regardless. So then what if they come back next year and say, hey, we're bringing SBMM back, and it's because we looked at the data that they always claim that they look at, right? And they're like, yeah, Black Ops 7 was just a bad year, and we tried to bring the matchmaking back, and we just had record lows. Yeah, no kidding, you had record lows. Your game was absolute crap. But again, they just rely on the very people that buy their game to just be idiots, right? And so they I won't say will, but might. And honestly, I give it over a 50% chance. But they could say, hey, the numbers were down. This just shows that the skill-based matchmaking was what was working for us. So we're going to bring that back. Again, I don't know if they would actually do that, just because things have gotten so bad for them. But my point being, I wouldn't put it past them, right? I would not put that past them. So that's all I'm saying, man. Again, I'm taking this with optimism, but not blind faith, right? And I just want to keep an eye out for whether the changes stick, whether they revert, So I don't know. Like I said, I'm still not pre-ordering. I'm going to give it some time. And I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to wait for it to launch. I'm going to give it a little time at launch, wait for people who do play the game to give their feedback and just see what it's like, and then maybe I'll make a consideration, right? But yeah, we owe Battlefield 6 a thank you, right? I'm going to be getting that when it comes out, which will be tomorrow at this point. But we owe, and I'm surprised I'm saying this, but we owe EA, particularly Battlefield 6, right? Because EA is its own thing, right? But we owe Battlefield 6 a thank you. We owe DICE a thank you. Because this is the beginning of a tumbling of a monopoly in the first-person shooter space. Call of Duty has monopolized it for years, right? And because of that, they've been allowed to just get away with anything. Treat their player base any kind of way. Feed us, AI slop, right? AI artwork, right? Making voice actors leave because they didn't have AI protections, right? They can get away with anything. So it's good that we have some competition back, and it's good that we have Battlefield 6. What I need now is for EA to make another basketball game to compete with 2K, right? And I need for some other company to make a football game to compete with Madden so I can play that again too. That's what I want. These monopolies need to be stopped. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. Join me in thanking Battlefield 6, and we'll see what happens with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I'm just really curious to see what happens, but that's going to do it for this video, guys. Keep an eye out, I should say, for more videos on the channel, my gameplays. I started a Door Kickers 2 series. Keep an eye out for more minutes. I'll be doing a Xenonauts 2 gameplay once the next milestone drops. It's still in early access, but I kind of want to play that on the channel too. So more stuff's coming. Also, I'll be grabbing some Battlefield content as well when that drops tomorrow, so stay tuned for that as well. And we'll see what happens with Black Ops 7, man. I'm hopeful this is a step in the right direction, to say the very least. So y'all take it easy. Peace.